I am here in Picher, Oklahoma. I'm here in Picher, Oklahoma, which is named the most toxic town in America. But what you're seeing behind me is millions of tons of chet mined up from the earth when they were extracting lead and zinc back in the 1920s to the 1960s. Right here, you can see this is some of the stuff that was mined up. And while the rocks aren't that harmful, this powder underneath is very harmful. It's 100 times more concentrated than the pebbles, and because it's so fine and small, it can actually go airborne and leak into the water. Right now, I'm in one of the last neighborhoods that was not destroyed by the 2008 tornado. Now that all the buildings have "keep out" written on them, so I'll respect that. But it's almost surreal, like a video game where all the doors and windows are missing. Now, despite it being called America's Chernobyl, there's actually zero radiation issues at all, which is why I took my hazmat suit off. The real issue is the lead and the zinc over time leached into their water supply. As well, they were using the chert or the chat or whatever on their homes and in their yards. And long-term contamination gets lead into your blood. So, yeah, it's toxic. It's not radioactive. The history of this place is actually pretty interesting. So, back during the Indian reservation times of pre-1900s, this was the Quapaw Nation land. Now, in the early 1900s, right before World War I, they actually discovered that lead was here. And at that point, they transitioned from traditional reservation land into Native Americans owning parcels, similarly to how the European colonists would. And because of that, you know, as many people know, there's mining rights or mineral rights, and then there's the land rights. Now, all big mining companies, like the Picher Mining Company, wanted to come and buy out the land so they could mine on it. Now, some of the Native Americans did accept, but others didn't. And because of that, the big mining companies actually went to Congress and the Supreme Court and ruled the Native Americans as unable to take care of themselves, unlike the white men. So either way, Picher Mining Company and the American Mining Company ended up getting their hands on this land. And recently, you know, naturally after the land was destroyed, the Quapaw Nation actually took back ownership. And when I say recently, I mean, I don't know, in the last 3 decades. And they completely left responsibility of repairing this place to the Quapaw Nation, which is a smaller tribe. It's kind of crazy. Now, another interesting thing you'll see about this place is it's a big victim of arson. Yeah, so this was not an accident, probably. Many places here were burnt down by arsonists after they were abandoned. But you can see this place was, oh, and it says homo right there. Wow, it says homo. Oh, and there's a swastika. I didn't even see that one. That's very edgy. And this is what I was talking about. It says keep out. And you'll see almost every single house here says keep out. Now, there's a couple reasons I theorize why they did that. For one, they didn't want the homeless squatting here. And for two, most of these houses were actually mined under. So probably under my feet right now, there are tunnels. So if you're, you know, messing around in the house and jumping, the house might collapse. I mean, it's not a non-zero chance. And actually, that's one of the big reasons why the EPA and the Oklahoman government finally stepped in and said, okay, let's buy these people's houses and get them out of here, because places were collapsing. And we're not just talking about potholes. We're actually talking about entire sinkholes that could swallow a whole car or a house. Here's a, man, what is that? That is disgusting. I don't even want to know what that is. Leave. Wow, that's scary. Look, it says leave. Okay. You can see This is the only house I've seen that still has cabinetry and stuff. And a door. Wow. I think this place is ready to move into. California price, maybe $2 million. And then, oh, look at that. Wow. That's a barn swallow nest right in the tub on top of the old shower curtain. We have something really, really cool for a small town. A giant gorilla. I don't know why. Oh, they're the gorillas. Oh my gosh, they're the gorillas. So they won their 1A football state champ in 1984, and they got a gorilla for it. But there's not only one gorilla, there's two gorillas. A little baby gorilla, very cute. Now, if you look close, it's hard to see, hard to spot. You'll see that there's some new attire on here. Similarly, there's stuff all over this place, like it was recently decorated. That's because there's people still managing this town, even though not many people live here. When I was getting my drone footage, I actually had a family on motorbikes drive right past me. Now look at this, this is super interesting. Property of the Quapaw tribe of Oklahoma. Now look at this fence. This looks like something from Jurassic World. Now can you guess what this is? No, you couldn't. It was the school. So the school shut down in 2009 from a 55-6 vote just to kill the whole school district. And in the same year is actually when the city got unincorporated. Now, most of the buildings, like the businesses, the whole downtown area I just showed you, were completely demolished, but for whatever reason, they left the school. It's a very cool building. At one point, this town had 15,000 people, so the school was relatively large. What you'll notice is they built this fence to house all of their recovery equipment as they try to rebuild the area. So look at this, y'all. We've got the old track back there. We've got the field house over to there. We've got this massive gate. I mean, this could stop a semi. I know it couldn't, but you know, it was a joke. But back there we have a barn, bunch of stuff. And they've all repurposed it in order to rebuild the area. Remember how I told you that was the last neighborhood remaining? Well, what if I told you just 20 years ago, this was a neighborhood as well? Now, a good sign of this is right there. That's a fire hydrant that's been overgrown. Now, in 2008, there was a giant tornado that just demolished a large portion of this town. 250 houses were destroyed, and it actually killed 6 people, making it an EF4 tornado. Right behind me, you can see an old pad and neighborhood roads and everything. But even more shocking is people used to live here, and right that way, there was giant Chet Mountains. And right this way, there's also giant Chet Mountains. And right this way, there's little Chet Mountains. So these people were literally surrounded by lead and zinc poison all the time in one of the most windy states. Right here, you can see a drive-in to someone's home. And you can see this literally was someone's house right here. That is just, I mean, it's unnoticeable, it's gone. Now this just astounds me because this is a suburban road, you know, where people lived. And that 200-foot mountain is crazy, but look right here. I mean, this is in a 3-minute walk, and you're immediately straight in a pile of poison. So if you found this interesting, and if you like, leave a like. And if you subscribe, leave a subscribe. Thanks, guys. I'll see you, I don't know, in 2 weeks maybe. We'll see.